Let's bring in Akiva Eldar, political analyst, contributor to Haaretz newspaper, who joins me from Tel Aviv. Welcome, Akiva. It's not a pretty picture financially that I just painted. Let's talk about the government spending past 118 billion. Is this going to distort Israel's credit rating, make them perhaps a risky bet?
Well, I believe that the answer is in the question, because you know that Israel had much better times. Israel economy was flourishing, while even in 2008, when the world economy, the global economy was in trouble. The thing is, as an economist, I know that, there is a demand and there is a supply. Unfortunately, in Israel, the Israeli people, there is still a demand for military solutions, and Netanyahu is able and willing, very happily, to supply this, with promising the total victory. According to the polls, the opposition that is offering diplomatic answers and establishing better relationship with the international and the economic community, as well as with the Israeli high-tech community, that so many of my friends in the high-tech industry have already left, as well as other professionals. But according to the polls, as I said, Netanyahu, as a magician in politics, may stay in power after the October elections, Neil.
It feels, Akiva, slightly like a vicious spiral. Higher levels of public debt, taxes are being increased. That's causing more businesses to fold. There's lower output. There might even be a loss of foreign military aid. What can the Bank of Israel do to stop this continuing to spiral?
The governor of the Bank of Israel is very clear about what Israel needs to do, is to cut the transfer of money to favorite constituencies that are not contributing too much to the Israeli public economy, such as the settlers community and the ultra-Orthodox, that only 50% of the men and 30% of the women participate in the labor market. So the answer is not in the hands of the Israeli government, the economists, it's the politicians. And I want to remind you, Neil, and the viewers, that what Netanyahu promised us is Sparta, that if we have to fight with our nails after Israel will be boycotted by more countries, we will do this. What is still saving Israel, and it may sound paradox, is the Israeli success in the military field, especially what Israel did in Iran and with the beepers in Lebanon. The Israeli military industry, security industry, especially the high-tech security industry, is flourishing. So money still comes in. But in the long run, Israel should be very worried, and the governor has no answer for this, because this trend started in 23, before the war, before the terrible October 7th, when the government headed by Netanyahu tried to pass the judicial reform or revolution. And every year, Israel is losing from 70,000 to, since then, 70,000 to 100,000 Israelis, most of them young people with young families. And this trend will not stop with any magic economic solution. It has to be a major change that hopefully will happen in the next October, in the coming October. But the other problem is it's another paradox, is the strength of the Israeli currency. The shekel is one of the strongest currencies in the world, and this makes the export from Israel very, very expensive. And many high-tech companies are now cutting their manpower in Israel because they have to pay their dues, the annual payment that they pay is about 20 to 25% more than it used to be. The shekel was $3.5 6 months ago, and now it's less than $3. So they are suffering. 50,000 businesses have been closed since October 23.
How long is this sustainable for, Akiva? How long can Israel absorb this, people leaving, the currency devaluing, businesses closing? And if the war was to end soon, how quickly do you think the country would rebound?
I think that when you look, you add to the equation the cost of living, the Israeli people hopefully will wake up and they will say that enough is enough with this suicidal economy. As you know, the minister of your question is very, very solid and down to earth. But if you have a minister of the treasury that says that we've tried everything, we've tried socialism, we have tried capitalism, but what we need to try is the rule of the Torah, of the religious rules, that with the help of God, everything will be okay. So as long as this is the kind of solutions offered by the man who is in charge of the Israeli economy, I think that, and the Israelis will be still giving him, you know, the opportunity to get reelected and to stay in power. And of course, he is channeling hundreds. On one hand, he says that he met with the governor of the Bank of Switzerland, who they have a similar problem of the currency of Switzerland. And what he said to him is, yes, I know, but we have the superpower, our God, that is always on our side. So the governor of Israel maybe can pray harder, go to the synagogue every Saturday, but I'm not sure if this is the answer. The other thing is, of course, the international market. If the Israeli economy will lose the trust of the international, the global economy, then the Israeli people will feel it in their pocket. Actually, they are feeling it. The war costs about $4,000 a day. It includes the Israeli ongoing occupation of Gaza, that we don't see the end of it. And the Israeli people are having to pay for it, and they don't like it. So hopefully in October, we will have a real debate between the people who have this kind of answers, that pray harder, study Torah, and between more rational people that are out there in the opposition. And the polls are looking much better today than they looked a year ago. And I believe that the Israeli economy is based on very solid pillars. What we need is a roof, and the roof is falling apart. I'm just watching the footage from Venezuela. This is what's happening right now to not only the Israeli economy, to the Israeli society, and to the Israeli security. The government has still not offered the people from the North community that lost their homes, they didn't offer them real solutions. Businesses are closing, and people are feeling that in their pockets, especially actually when they travel to Europe.
Akiva, I do apologise. It's been great speaking to you, but I'm afraid time has eaten us up. That is it. That's all we've got time for. Akiva Eldar, political analyst, is my guest.